Oh man, I guess it's not gonna let me do it the way that I wanted to. Hey, how are y'all? Well, at least it's not my favorite camera to use, but I must have done something wrong. Anyway, weather has not been permitting the last week and a half or so. We've had way too much rain, so apologize for taking so long to get back on. And plus, there were some mishaps. We had somebody drive crazy into the neighborhood one night and busted our water main and knocked over one of the RVs because they ran right into it. So it's been really crazy, but finally we're here. And we're talking today about fires basically, but we're going to narrow down into these lithium ion batteries because Mike from around the world was talking about them, brought them back up, and it is super important. I don't see anybody in the chat, so if there's the watchman maybe is in here, I don't know, but I don't see any chat. Okay, so that's gonna, I guess. Oh, here it popped up finally. Thank you, Robin Schultz, for checking in. Hello, Thermal Ascension, Watchman, Julie Tyler, and Kathleen. God bless you all. Wonderful. And I want to give a shout out for Daily Excellence and Off-Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adrian. Both links are in the description box. They are great, great channels. All right. Also, don't forget, in 2 days, Saturday night, I'm doing a live interview with a wonderful woman named Kim. We're going to do a soul food thing for Christians for the end times, like real talk, real tips, real things, okay? Answering questions. I don't want you to miss that. It's going to be awesome. We love you, Off Grid. We love you, Paul and Adrian. We do. Hello, Erikel, Nancy, Wendy, Janet, Drummond Son. All right, and Julie. All right, okay. All right, so here we go. Mike didn't just mention lithium batteries, he also mentioned gasoline fires as well, saying things about how the radiation coming through can change the chemicals. And I did a live on this before talking about how that could be a problem wherever gasoline is, and to be careful where you have your gasoline stored near your house or whatever, because that can be a problem. Well, radiation can also change give problems with these ion batteries, these lithium ions. I don't know if it's the same with lithium phosphate batteries, but for sure the lithium ions, okay? And what has really come out in the news a lot is the scooters and, wouldn't you believe it, the electric cars. I bet y'all could have guessed those electric cars. But the solution to the fuel problem that the government seems to think we have, being electric cars, not only overloads the grid, and when we're going through a magnetic pole reversal that's reversing the core, chances are electric cars, electrical, is going to be affected. And it's overloading the grid as it is because it wasn't set up for all these cars, and they didn't put any kind of solar panels to kind of have any kind of charge while it's sitting idle or being used. So we just have these charging ports. But now they can be dangerous. And believe it or not, you might have heard of like those little hoverboard fires and stuff. One exploded in the mall years ago. It was a horrible fire. But we have actually had recent fires, like within the last few days. NBC News reported lithium ion battery fires becoming increasingly common. Phoenix, which is in Arizona, for those that don't know, Phoenix Fire Department warns of lithium ion batteries after pair of fires. Lithium ion battery fire in cabin injures 7 and prompts flights return to California. Washington Post. Laptop battery fire forces United to land, hospitalizes 4. So, how common are lithium battery fires? Right here, as of November 15th of 22, it said 1 out of every 10 million lithium ion batteries fails, a condition that almost always leads to fire. is failure of the battery. While that is a relatively low rate, the batteries are being used in more devices, including cheaper, uncertified batteries with greater risk. So if you're getting the cheaper batteries that aren't made so well, that would be a problem also. But it also can happen if it overheats, like if you have to charge your battery, like your solar power generating thing, you don't want to leave that in the sun. You want to keep that battery in shaded in some way while it's being charged by the solar panels. Okay, but here's another question. What causes lithium batteries to catch on fire? The electrodes are submerged in a liquid called an electrolyte, which allows for the movement of ions and consists of lithium salt and organic solvents. It's these organic solvents which are the leading fire hazard in lithium ion batteries. Okay, now this statistic of 1 out of every 10 million lithium ion battery fails, that number is gonna shrink because of the magnetic pole reversal issues. And Houston has its own magnetic anomaly. So yeah, we're gonna probably have every kind of electrical problem in time. Okay. Houston would be at risk in anything in all of your devices. If you're on a cruise in the South Atlantic, you might have problems. Okay, but this I found interesting, that when you have a lithium battery fire, that it's different from other fires. Small lithium batteries contain very little lithium, so they can be doused with water. To put out large lithium ion battery fires, use a foam extinguisher containing CO2, powder graphite, ABC dry chemical, or sodium carbonate. They actually have lithium battery fire extinguishers. So if you own one, you might want to get one. It talks about certain gases that it emits. Okay. Says what to do if a lithium battery starts smoking. Unplug it from the outlet if it is on charge. Avoid inhaling any smoke or fumes. It can be very bad. If possible, remove it to an outside area. You might want to have something to pad your hands though, because these kind of fires, they're hotter than you think. It's not like a hot pot on the stove. It's hotter than that. Okay. Small devices can be dropped into a bucket of clean water to cool if this can be done safely. You don't want any splashback either. Okay. What happens if you breathe in lithium battery smoke? High exposure may cause a buildup of fluid in the lungs called pulmonary edema, medical emergency with severe shortness of breath. Exposure to lithium can cause loss of appetite, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Okay, what does lithium smell like? Smells like sweet. It's sweet like grape Gatorade. That cannot be good for you. I store new batteries in sealed Tupperware. Anyway, that's what that one person does. What are early signs of lithium toxicity? Loss of appetite or vomiting, blurred vision, excessive thirstiness, needing to pee frequently, uncontrollable urination and bowel movements, a lightheaded or drowsy feeling, confusion and blackouts, shaking, muscle weakness, twitches, jerks, or spasms affecting your face, tongue, eyes, or neck. Oh, there's more items. Acne like rash, thinning of hair or hair loss. Yep. So this is it doesn't guarantee that your battery's going to blow up. But like those little scooters, the little hoverboards, these electric cars you got going on, and your phones seem to be the highest risk right now. But this article here says fires sparked by lithium batteries are confounding firefighters. This was just written on February 7th on, I believe it's in the Peacock. Is it ABC that has the Peacock? NBC? It's not telling me. Anyway, y'all would probably know what I'm talking about. But it says last July, an electric transit bus in Connecticut burst into flames while parked at a depot. A month later, an electric scooter sparked a fire inside a New York City apartment that killed a 5-year-old girl and a 36-year-old woman. And last month, a fire believed to be caused by the batteries in an electric scooter engulfed a multifamily home in Brockton, Massachusetts. Lithium ion batteries have become a ubiquitous feature in new forms of transportation and common household products. They're also found in residential solar energy systems. But when those batteries fail or overheat, they release flammable, toxic gases that can spark a fast spreading fire that is extremely difficult to extinguish. The source of the gases that are creating the flames is confined within a cell battery that will not allow water in, said Ofodike. Oh, this guy's name. He's a fire scientist and professor of mechanical engineering at the University of Texas at Austin. So, this guy knows what he's talking about. When firefighters are responding to these types of incidents, it takes a lot longer to be able to control the fire because it requires so much more water. So that foam extinguisher would be great. If you have these items in your home, at least get the proper extinguisher. Okay. With the number of fires caused by lithium batteries soaring across the U.S., firefighters and other experts say the training needed to fight them effectively is lagging in many places. I did go through some kind of a little bit of fire training awareness, really just happened. But one thing I learned was that these stuffed animals you have for your kids cause fires to burn so many hundreds of degrees hotter. So try to get the big bears out of there. Try to limit your stuffed animals. Okay. Seriously. Let's check on the chat super fast. Hello, Adrienne, Carrie, Lynn. They burn hot. Todd says they burn hot than a road flare and yes, that kind of hot. Hello, Ben. One AA battery contains enough lithium to create a small explosion. I did not know that. Oh, Ben was a trained firefighter. Whoa. All right. Well, if you have any tips or anything, tell us on the subject. Please do, Ben. Hello, Carrie. I used to drive a city bus. The fire department said if one of our electric buses caught fire, they would let it burn. I can see, the picture's becoming clearer, the more that we learn. Scream Engine is here. Remote controlled incendiary devices. Everything is potentially a weapon, but especially connected devices registered with your identity. So true. Very, very true. Everything they promote is a piece of the endgame puzzle. Thank you, Scream Engine, for the compliment. All right. So let's continue reading this article super fast. Hold on just a second. What we're seeing is these new technologies, as important as they are, they make it out into the field before we know all the possible consequences that could come from them. Oh, I know of a medication that came out recently that they did that exact thing with. It's kind of a look before you leap, the cart before the horse. Not very wise. But that is what's happening, okay? There are really well-built machines with these batteries in them, and then there are the cheaper ones that are more dangerous. It isn't until failures start to happen that the fire service understands what the consequences are. That's where we need to start playing catch up. Kerber said his team has run tests on lithium ion batteries in which it took only 15 seconds from the first sign of smoke to the windows being blown out in a house. 15 seconds. So you don't have time to stop to go to the sink and put some water on it from your pitcher. You don't. You just need to get out, get your kids out, get your cats out, your dogs, your hamster, whatever, and call 911. You have no time. And if you live in a two-story especially, but you got to have a fire exit plan. You've got to make sure that your kids are aware of fire safety, of being aware if these batteries seem a little bit too hot, need to be put in the shade. Don't leave your scooters out in the sun and the driveway in 102-degree heat. No. Direct. I'm just saying, fire awareness. 15 seconds from the windows being blown out in the house. In a traditional fire, it typically takes about 3 minutes for a room to be engulfed. So this is much, much faster. With such explosion hazards, it's incredibly important that we get firefighters to understand how to operate safely, as well as the people, I think. Let's scroll down here. Okay, Claire and Lopez arrived along with the other first responders to find a white cloud of vapor seeping out of the building and drifting across the desert. So they called it a white cloud of vapor, not smoke, vapor. It was staying about 3 to 4 feet off the ground, and it was kind of swaying like seawater. The firefighters suspected it was some kind of chemical cocktail. They secured the area and used special devices to test the air, which showed dangerous levels of hydrogen cyanide and carbon monoxide. Then they waited until the vapor stopped flowing out of the building and the levels of flammable gas dropped. Nearly 2 hours passed before the firefighters made their way to the front door of the facility. When they opened it, a large cloud escaped the building. Before they could retreat to safety, this space, when they opened the door, ignited, setting off a powerful explosion. Like, that movie Backdraft, they open the doors like, okay. Lopez landed 30 feet away. Claire was thrown about 70 feet, his body in flames. Don't remember the explosion. Don't remember anything from there, Claire said. I bet. Both men suffered severe injuries, including brain trauma. Lopez had a collapsed lung, broken ribs, a broken leg, separated shoulder, laceration of the liver, and multiple thermal and chemical burns, according to the report. Claire suffered an eye injury, spine damage, broken ribs, broken ankles, a broken scapula, that's your shoulder blade, internal bleeding, and thermal and chemical burns. But they know they were lucky to be alive. It could have been worse, they said. If you got there and you were in the middle of nowhere and didn't have the training you needed, you might rush in. The rise of electric scooters in cities has led to a massive spike in battery fires. Lithium ion batteries. So this could even be the, how those older people, kind of a handicapped, disabled kind of scooters too. Lithium ion batteries sparked more than 200 fires in New York City last year alone, killing 6 people and injuring nearly 150. That's double the amount of double the amount of battery fires in 21. So it's going up, which should be expected considering the magnetic issues that we're having. Let me see here. Okay, just checking the comments for just a second. Ben says moisture from the air reacted with the haze. Yeah. Sometimes water, like in a volcano, can make something explode. Hello, child of the King Jesus, my Lord, and Tammy Porter. Welcome, girl. It's good to see you again. Okay. All right. God bless you all. God bless you all. Hello, J Frog, Red Scout, everybody, Dennis, Portsmouth, divided kingdom, peace, and love. Good deal. Good deal. All right. So we had a lot of time on that. We even mentioned that Houston has its own magnetic anomaly. And there's been a lot of fires in the news as of recent too. Okay. Other ones. Like, hold on just a second. I was looking at this. Okay, it's not just with scooter fires, because when you have a magnetic anomaly like we do, it's pushing the magma up. So some of these forest fires, it's magma. And if you stop and think about all of the dormant volcanoes that are coming to life, then you stop and think, oh, wait, Jackson, Mississippi, the whole city, is sitting right on top of a volcano. Like they have a stadium or something, a college or something really, really big right at like the top of this volcano. So you have to understand that the ground underneath your feet in a lot of cases is getting hotter. Like you're noticing the increase in seismic activity around like the New York area. That's because there's a big pocket of magma that they call the New England blob. It's very, very big. It goes out into the Atlantic a little bit, this pocket of magma. And a lot of these quakes are around, usually fault lines. And fault lines oftentimes have volcanoes lining them, whether they're above, on land, or subsea. So we're seeing fires that way. Then we've got plasma lightning, okay, that we're expecting and starting to get a taste of. The world is heating up. It's heating up from underneath. And in some cases, like where I'm at, we have a surplus of water in the air. So when that sun's shining down on us, oh my goodness, that water is just like boiling us. It's magnified somehow. It's almost suffocating. And the cold that we have down here in the South, because there's so much water in the air, it's a different kind of cold than you would get in the northern United States. A totally different kind of cold. It stabs you through your clothes and everything. It's very different. Okay, the New England blob. That's right, Cowboy 8 panel. Yep, it's a big, big pocket of magma. There's a lot of magma around East Australia and New Zealand under there. And then we got Tamu Massif, which is right. I don't know how, if we just pretend for a minute that Japan is north and south and not like this, like it is, it would be like the lower end on the United States side that you'll see this big subsea volcano. It's like it's like, I think the biggest in the world. It's pretty bad. Bad girl. She sure is. That's a bad volcano. Okay. Painful with humid ocean air. Yes. When you get humid air in that cold, it is very painful. It's all right if you use caps once in a while. It doesn't bother me so much. Really don't. Okay. So we're getting house fires too. We are getting, okay, but it says right here that there was a laptop battery fire. Okay, that thing, yeah, laptop battery. So what I'm using right now, what a lot of us use to go on the air or pay our bills, these things can catch on fire too. It's true. It is true. Just kind of looking through some of this because I know there was something important on here that I wanted to do, that I wanted to see. No, there's none of that. Okay. As of, it looks like March last year. Yeah, you got your forest fires. What was it I was looking for down here? I guess that's it. That's all we needed to look at on there. But I did want to mention, like the Ohio train wreck. That was like another train wreck, and I don't know what caused that wreck, but I've been having a bad feeling about trains derailing, particularly because when you have the ground moving and faults shifting, you're gonna have movement of the ground in general, and that can buckle roads, and it can also mess up the tracks, the railroad tracks, if the ground moves. And we're experiencing more of that. In fact, those Turkey quakes, they're saying that they shifted the plates, like, I don't know if it was 3 meters or 3 feet, which would mean 3 or 9 feet, depending on what it was. But if one fault shifts, it kind of all affects all of them, really. And we also have around the world crustal thinning. We have the core reversing. So everything is really ramping up, which means that raising crops is going to be even harder. That means that growing anything for yourself will be that much more important. Okay. And we are getting ready to have an economic collapse. Like at some point it's coming because the dominoes just keep falling. It was never going to be just one incident that made it happen. It was going to be several events, several dominoes falling. But eventually, the dollar's going to become worthless, especially with how they're outing the petrodollar. you're going to have some skills. You're going to have some preps put back. And if you have certain solar batteries, maybe Faraday cages would be nice to look into. I don't know if that would help, but be sure to always keep an eye on if it's hot or not. A lot of these batteries, these power station solar batteries, they have fans on them that help keep them cool, and features that will shut everything down in case, if you buy one that's right. But these turkey quakes, I'm telling you, the next morning after that first night, my son came up at least 20 minutes early that day. I'm telling you, I walk out the door at 6:45 in the morning to get my daughter to work, and the sun doesn't really start peaking until 7:05. I walked out at 6:45 and it was already bright. I don't know how long it had been bright like that, but I know it was at least 20 minutes early. And there were other people who said it too. So we're having some problems, we are. And then, I think about these like these food processing plants, manufacturing for food, and other different plants catching on fire. Is if they have like, fine, dusty ingredients, especially with the way the magnetics are right now, that can be, in at least some of these cases, causes for the fire, because that dustiness in there, it's very flammable. Some of the electronic equipment from magnetics could be having electrical fires. You would see that. And then to make matters worse, when you have a magnetic problem like we do, it causes tempers to flare. So we're at DEFCON 2 and 3 in the United States all the time. The doomsday clock has moved up. And so if there's any advice I can give you for now, is if you have anything that you might want to do, is invest in sunscreen, aloe vera, and a good hat. Like a good hat. Okay. I have one, but the skin exposure, you're going to have skin cancer. This is not like the 80s where people wanted to sunbathe and really just luxuriate in the sun. That's not these days. You can't do that anymore. Make sure, and burns are going to be easier to get. So make sure you have that aloe vera, and the burn creams. You're like, oh man, I can't remember the name of this one cream that came out of the pharmacy, but it was just amazing for burns. They used it in hospitals and everything. Yeah. So think ahead. Also, you might want to think ahead about your battery powered fans, that misting fans. Start thinking summer, start thinking those outside umbrellas if you need them. And probably stay away from the ones that have solar lights on them, because they have those little ion batteries. So in the sun, your umbrella could catch on fire, or just get a regular umbrella, and stay in the shade. Remember the fans. Remember frozen water bottles. Trust me. Okay. Hello, Diana. And Heaven Bound Silvadine cream. Yes, Silvadine. Yes, 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 yes. That is exactly. It is the best. It come in this big old jar. I was a pharmacy technician. I had amnesia, so I've got like flashes, but I used to not prescribe. I wasn't a doctor. I used to fill those prescriptions all the time. I filled about 500 on my own every single day. That was a lot. And then like an 8-hour shift. I was busy. I was going really fast. Hello, Kim. It's good to see you, sister. It's always good to see you. You just never know how much time you got these days, right, huh? Old Town, Windsor Bad. Hello, Letitia. Welcome. God bless you. Mary. I do see really upset people today. Yes. A lot of people, they don't know how to handle their emotions, but it's more than that now. Yes, you have people that are somewhat unstable, and that's normal in the sense, because that can happen. But what we're having now are actually stressors, people's tempers, the magnetic pole reversal. But there's also all of these things that we're facing in our future, the things that we're facing now, like the collapse of our nation, grocery stores, banks, all of it. We see it just being undone. So it's harder for anybody. It doesn't matter who you are nowadays. It'd be strange to find somebody that genuinely doesn't have any understanding or urgency these days. And that's the biggest reason that I'm bringing my friend Kim on Saturday for some soul food. Trust me, it's going to be real talk, about problems that Christians are facing nowadays, these days. Like, a lot of us have family that, that wheat and the tares are being separated, and that includes our family. A lot of families have been divided. And so we're going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about the reality. And she's so good. I mean, she's got something that I definitely don't have. She really does. I think that you're going to like this. You're going to benefit from this. And it's just 2 days away. Thank God the weather's finally permitting so I can do this. I really hope to see you there. You're very welcome, MC. It's hard to tell anymore who you can trust. That's why you have to test the spirit. Absolutely. All right. It's the start of a new age. This is what happens. So don't just think about the things that are going away. There's always something new coming. Okay. There's never a door that shuts that another one doesn't open. Mankind goes on. We're just transitioning right now. Okay. But we're going to really go over, 2 days from now, you have a comment. We're going to be looking at these comments. And if Kim sees them, like any of them, and it's like, okay, I want to talk about that, we'll pause, we'll pin it, and we'll answer or talk about, so it's going to be for you guys. All right. And like I said, I really think you're going to love it. In the meantime, you'll catch me over on moderating Off-Grid Desert Farming with Paul and Adrian and Daily Excellences channels. Again, descriptions are in the description box. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe if you're new, because I hope you like it here, and comment, share the videos, and all that jazz. I love you guys. God bless you all, and I will see you in 2 days. Bye.